Welcome to Third Way Forum. A common frustration expat managers have in Japan is their Japanese colleagues don't speak up in meetings, in English or even Japanese. There is an awkward silence when asked for their opinions, thoughts, or questions. Why? Their hesitation to speak may be caused by the Japanese corporate hierarchy or the education system, but these things won't change anytime soon. So how can you handle it? We at Third Way Forum extensively discussed this, and we concluded the most powerful quick fix is to change the way you facilitate meetings. We came up with 5 concrete tips you can apply today to shake up your meeting structure and dramatically increase the participation of your Japanese colleagues. Tip number 1. Set up a dedicated forum to discuss problems separate from the status update meeting. At a status update meeting, people naturally want to paint a picture that everything is okay in their team. Especially in Japan, people are conscious of harmony and peer pressure, so they tend to play down the seriousness of their problems. This often leads to a lack of transparency. So when you want to hear about problems in details, we advise you to set up a separate forum just to discuss problems and explain things that aren't working well. Then the Japanese will feel more comfortable because it's a clearly defined forum where everybody else will discuss their own problems too. Tip number 2. Do brain writing before brainstorming. For idea generation, brainstorming is a common technique, but often it doesn't produce results with your Japanese colleagues. Unlike Westerners who are used to thinking aloud, many Japanese want to organize their thoughts before sharing them with others. So we advise pre-assigning the Japanese participants to think about the topic and write down their ideas prior to the brainstorming session. Then, when you have the brainstorming session, their thoughts are already organized and written down so they can share their ideas by reading them or posting them on the wall or chat box. Tip number 3. Let the people present their ideas in the reverse hierarchical order. Due to the strong hierarchical mentality, many junior Japanese staff feel they are not able to speak up, afraid that their output may be wrong or go against the opinions of their boss. They often try to echo the same opinion as their seniors. So we advise asking the most junior people in the meeting to share their thoughts first and proceed with the sharing session in the reverse hierarchical order. This had the added bonus of their comments being free and genuine without being susceptible to the comments of the senior staff. Tip number 4. Invite silent people to speak up. Sometimes you may find a Japanese colleague who is silent in a meeting. Maybe they have a different view from the majority of the participants or from the boss, and they don't want to look like someone who destroys the harmony. So they would rather remain silent. We strongly advise you to invite the person to speak up. In this way, they do not have to worry about being seen as challenging someone. Until the speaking up culture and spontaneity are developed, the facilitator should appoint the silent ones to speak up and ensure well-balanced exposure and attention are given to all participants. Tip number 5. Don't try to achieve too much in one meeting. As a facilitator, you should not be over-ambitious about achieving so much in one meeting. The first step should be to encourage as many Japanese colleagues as possible to speak up. So we advise being careful not to create a rushed feeling, because the more rushed it feels, the less likely the Japanese will speak up. Because their sense of humility kicks in and says, "Don't bother busy people with my mediocre opinion." If necessary, just have another meeting on the same topic. You want your Japanese colleagues to speak up more, so it's important to give them enough time to do so. Okay, let's wrap it up. Here are the 5 facilitation tips again. Tip number 1, set up a dedicated forum to discuss problems separate from the regular status updated meeting. Tip number 2, do brain writing before brainstorming. Tip number 3, let the people present their ideas in the reverse hierarchical order. Tip number 4, invite silent people to speak up. Tip number 5, don't try to achieve too much in one meeting. With these 5 actions, you are providing your Japanese colleagues with a much higher sense of psychological safety. So try some at your work. I bet you will be amazed to see how many great ideas your normally quiet Japanese colleagues start to contribute. We hope you find this information useful. Check us out at Third Way Forum. We meet regularly to discuss a variety of issues to find better ways for global business leaders, both Japanese and foreign, to be more successful in Japan.
So, we need to see the third way, a better hybrid, new type of corporate culture that makes sense both in Japan and global. And people like you with international experience with daily struggle in the Japanese business world are the best people to come up with such a new culture, new movement, the third way movement.
Thanks for watching. May your Japan business prosper.